I'm Holly Whistler, tour guide and ethnomusicologist from the U.S. living in Cusco, Peru. With your support, we will make a documentary about our campaign for the education of deaf children in Peru. The deaf only have education in Peru up through the 6th grade of primary school, and that's it. In 2008, Peru's Ministry of Education passed a law that all deaf children needed to be pulled out of special education classrooms and mainstreamed into regular schools. The idea was progressive. However, it is a failed system because the Ministry of Education did not put in place any interpreter training programs. So now any children who attempt high school are sitting there without interpreters, not understanding what is being taught, and must just simply drop out. It is the right of every deaf child to have access to communication and education. This documentary is the touching story of my adopted deaf son, Dante, but it is also about basic human rights. My godson, Dante Flores Apasa, was born in the remote mountain community of Queros, located in the high Andes of Peru. The community of Queros is known for its many wonderful traditions like music, weavings, and rituals from pre-Hispanic Inca times. These are Dante's roots. Dante's mother died when he was a year and a half old. At that point in time, he went to live with his maternal grandparents who took really good care of him. They loved him, they fed him, but in his grandfather's words, he said, "We raised him like an animal," because they couldn't communicate with him. He didn't walk, he didn't talk, they didn't know what was wrong with him. So when he was 3 years old, I brought him into Cusco and to put him through a series of tests, and we discovered that he was deaf. In Queros, Dante would likely grow up to be a herder, isolated in his own mind, unable to communicate his thoughts or his feelings. Many times I would visit Queros and see Dante sitting in his grandparents' home in the dark, on his own. He didn't walk independently until he was 6 years old, simply because of understimulation. He wasn't socialized with any of the other children in Queros. The people of Queros have an ancient wisdom that is connected to their mountain gods, to their Mother Earth. Its caring communal lifestyle is a healthy environment for children to grow up in, but there's no education for special needs children like Dante. When Dante was 7, I convinced his grandparents to bring him to Cusco to begin his education at a boarding school for deaf children. At the school, Dante began to identify with other deaf children like himself. Many of them were from remote mountain communities like Dante. So I started to take him out on small excursions, and he would spend the night at my house 1 night a week, 2 nights a week, until eventually he came to live with me full time. And I have learned firsthand how simply being able to communicate has changed his life. He's no longer isolated in his own thoughts. He has friends. He is very social. He's extremely joyful and full of vigor and curiosity for the world. At this point in time, it is still a dream for deaf children to get any sort of decent education in Peru and later on employment. This documentary is important on many levels. On the personal level, for showing how love conquers all. Dante and I are fighting against all odds to give him the best life possible. It is also necessary for showing the basic need and basic right of communication. I have seen how communication can change the life of anyone. I've seen that with Dante. Communication can make a full life possible. In particular, this documentary is important for raising awareness about the lack of education for deaf children in Peru and for stimulating dialogue about possible solutions. Dialogue on the individual family level, but also dialogue nationally on the institutional, government institution and educational institutional level. There will be interviews with deaf educators in Cusco and Lima who talk about the issues that they face and pose possible solutions. It is necessary to make this documentary to represent all deaf children in Peru and everywhere who deserve the very same chance at life as hearing children. So please make your donation here, right here on the Indiegogo page. Every donation counts and comes with its accompanying gift, like a textile from Queros. All proceeds from the documentary will go to sponsor activities and programs to help enhance deaf education in Peru. So ultimately, your donation will touch the lives of these little deaf angels who deserve every chance at education, employment, and a full life. Thank you. Gracias.